The home of inspiration every day.
Most people give up on themselves easily. You know the human spirit is powerful.
From news,
countries across the globe have been hit by the COVID-19 virus.
Views,
There's a global trend to see an increase in GBV incidences, specifically domestic violence.
sports,
What's he say? It's a really good ball. It's Shabalala.
and music to inspire you every day. This is Vuga Online, your inspiration radio station.
Welcome to Vuga Online Radio, everybody. This is DJ Hotlane, your favorite sustainability DJ, your content creator, your content on Vuga Online Radio.co.za. And it is quite a journey, and today the journey continues. And today's journey is very, very special. Of course, I say this every time, guys. Everyone that comes into the show is just a wonderful person, special. So, yeah, thank you guys for joining us on the show. Again, you know to find us on the socials. It's Vuga Online Radio everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Elon Musk. What else? Yeah, all the social media platforms, you'll find us. And without further ado, let me start. I'm pretty sure you're excited to know who this is that I'm going to be talking to. Our guest today is Mrs. Africa, Mccayla Warriker. Okay? So that's our guest today, Mrs. Africa 2024. So the reigning Mrs. Africa 2024, actually, let's get that clear. And she'll be telling us all about herself, all about her journey, in her life at the moment. What has her life been like for the past year and beyond, of course. And I'm so excited to hear what she's about to talk to us about in her journey. Of course, this is Africa's Leaders in Sustainability Show. And yeah, she's our leader, current reigning leader. So now, let's say hello to her. Mccayla, hi.
Morning, Kotso. How are you?
Oh, I'm very good. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. And thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm sorry for having to correct you. So I'm technically not Mrs. Africa. Mrs. Africa has a husband. I'm Ms. Africa, so without the R, yes.
Without the R, yes. Thank you for that. I was trying to understand. Okay, Miss Africa. But anyway, the titles have always defeated me. When they ask me to put a title when I sign forms, I put doctor or I put professor. Anyway. Yes, welcome to the show, Mccayla. I'm super excited to have you, to speak to you about your journey in sustainability and everything else that you've been doing for the world, for the continent at large. And yes, before we continue, we are going to a break. And yeah, I'm going to break a break, and then we'll come back. And you just want our audience who's listening to just grab a cup of coffee, grab some more. You should all be excited to hear from you as well. So, without further ado, break.
The home of inspiration every day.
Most people give up on themselves easily. You know the human spirit is powerful.
From news,
Countries across the globe have been hit by the COVID-19 virus.
views,
There's a global trend to see an increase in GBV incidences, specifically domestic violence.
sports,
What's he say? It's a really good ball. It's Shabalala.
and music to inspire you every day. This is Vuga Online, your inspiration radio station.
Welcome back to Africa Leaders in Sustainability Show here on Vuga Online Radio.co.za. Yes, hope it's refreshing. brands show that we have Miss Africa, Miss Africa show. And yeah, let me not take the spotlight. This is not my show today. That's so. I want to reach out to the guest. I can't do it better than you. Introduce yourself to the content. Introduce yourself without. Introduce yourself. And what you are.
Introduce myself.
Yes.
Okay, so morning, Koto. As you mentioned, I am Mccayla Warriker. I am the current reigning Miss Africa. So that does mean I'm still unmarried. So that's what the titles are in front of the Africa. I currently serve as the impact coordinator and conceptual consultant for Patrician Consulting, a brand progress and growth consultancy firm. I am a student of practical theology and a recent qualified pastoral narrative therapist. I also work as a brand and content designer. And then, as you mentioned, I'm the reigning Miss Africa 2024. I previously served as the regional youth coordinator for the Wildlife and Environmental Society of South Africa's Northern Area regions. So, and that's what the bulk of my journey for the past year has been focused on, was brand collaboration, specifically with the Wildlife Society, as we grew in the topic of sustainability and sort of broadened the landscape to the demographic that I serve. So there was a lot of work in environmental sustainability, which definitely it opened my eyes to the theological aspect of sustainability as well. So it's been a year of planting trees and gardens and working with students and just generally learning how environmentalism and wildlife and sustainability and life in general just plugs in together. So that's me in a very, very small nutshell. I was born in Makadu in Limpopo. Then we moved to Joburg, and I've lived in Pretoria, Cape Town, Lesotho, Hammanskraal, India. Just traveled a bit to sort of find myself, and now I'm here.
Wow. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. A very colorful one indeed. Very colorful journey that you've had. And now I'm going to ask you the same question again. However, now I want you to tell us who you are without the constructs, without the accolades, and without naming locations and everything. Who is Mccayla without all of these things?
I love that question. So I've been journeying with myself in depth. I've been jumping into introspection for 2 years now, and I don't have just one answer that I can give you. I know that I am. So some of the recent feedback I've received is that I make people nervous, and that apparently I intimidate people. But for me, I think I'm very kind. I think I'm very focused. I'm very goal orientated. I'm very driven to get to where I need to go. I do like efficiency. I play on not play. I'm very comfortable on the ASD spectrum. So I've genuinely gotten to know myself as just a free-spirited girl playing in the kingdom, and that's sort of the easiest description of who I am.
Yeah.
Without the accolades.
Yes. And they all tie in together. So I like asking this question twice. It sort of like catches the guests off guard. It's like, okay, you have to think about yourself in a public's eye type of way. And how you do your perspective without any descriptions from what just is or what you it's quite interesting the different answers that you get as a conversation. But okay. And then we'll come back. We're gonna talk more about your journey into the space.
How do you know the life or personal coach you're about to work with is who they say they are? How do you know if they can do the job? At the Africa Board for Coaching, Consulting and Coaching Psychology, we can tell you. So, before you share your secrets and spend your money, check with us first. Visit www.abccccp.com or call us on 012-751-7608. The ABCCP, the professional body for coaches.
Welcome back. This is DJ Hotlane. You know where we are? Hey, so today we have Miss Africa, the reigning Miss Africa on the show. And she is all for efficiency, all for, and she's done some amazing work, of course, over the past year as Miss Africa. And now that's what I want to know. I'm just sure you know, Mccayla. Your role as Miss Africa. What is Miss Africa's role? And what have you, as the current reigning Miss Africa, been doing over the past year?
Okay, so you broke up a bit at the beginning of the question. I just want to confirm your question was, what is the role of Miss Africa, and then what have I been doing?
Yes, that's it.
Okay, so the Africa platform is a platform of finding your own inner authenticity and learning how to live out loud, and then going out and doing that in a public setting. It is being equipped with the power of the sash in order to open doors and open avenues for us to further explore our own authentic purposes and authentic dreams. So that is what the role of Miss Africa is it's a key to walk into various industries and then from there utilize those walkways as best you can. For me specifically, this was from a leadership perspective, from a social development perspective, from a social upliftment, empowerment perspective, and then definitely from a sustainability perspective in terms of what do we do with the greater collective and earth and our country as a whole. It was also from a very patriotic and purpose-driven, divinely led perspective. So for me, what I've been doing across my journey is I've genuinely very prayerfully opened myself up to many opportunities, and I've partnered with various different organizations and nonprofits and people who are in the fight for sustainability. And when I say sustainability, I mean just the systems that drive the systems that keeps the bigger system and the bigger social construct of our collective society afloat. So in my journey as Miss Africa, I've had the privilege of building an outdoor science laboratory at the Tshwane University of Technology. We've also done a small garden installation from which the plants can now propagate and then be planted out into the garden. So we have a little station of a cultivation station where the plants just keep going at the Melrose House Museum in Pretoria, which is in the inner city. So we really want the community to be able to go and appreciate that and have some outdoor spaces, because it's really hard for young kids who grow up in small houses with no garden spaces to have a passion for gardening. So we've tried to really focus on that aspect. I've also done a few school talks with different organizations where I spoke to young learners about life and orientating on the concept of life. And for Child Protection Week, we spoke to a few schools across Bronkhorstspruit in Gauteng. So this was on hard topics like these are going to be a bit trigger words, but it's on topics like suicide and child neglect and sexual assault, and explaining to these kids what abuse is, because it's really hard for a child to seek help for abuse if they don't know that they're being abused. So I was fortunate enough to use my platform to have these types of conversations with young kids, to empower them with the dialect to be able to move forward in a safe and sustainable way. I've also done smaller events where I've managed to genuinely get connected with different parts of the community. I've also had the privilege of spending some time with the Down syndrome school, where I learned about the non-verbal aspects of communication and life in general. So yes, that's in a nutshell what I've been doing with my RAIN. I am busy compiling my overview portfolio, just to be able to remember all of it. But I did try and optimize as well as I could. Yes.
All right. Okay. That's a lot of amazing stuff, inspiring stuff, and just looking for your inspiration radio station. So yeah, the way you embody sustainability and the sustainable development goals as SDG 17 is quite amazing, actually. And thank you so much. I think I must say thank you on behalf of the audience on my side for inspiring us. And I'm definitely sure that this is inspiring someone that's listening right now out there. And yeah, that's awesome stuff. It's awesome stuff. And there's something that some would say, why should I journey into sustainability? Why? Have you ever encountered somebody that asked you that question in terms of the projects that you've done over the year? Why should they join sustainability, or why? If they're asking you, why are you doing it? Sort of like being like pessimistic view towards it. Have you encountered that throughout your journey?
Yes. I do get frequent whys, especially in sustainability. So I try to hit as many of the goals as I can, and in my project specifically. But the reason for that is not as much as what is the why. My reason is always, but what is the why not? So to find the why for anything is such a multifaceted, multidimensional journey, and you can reach any why, and it might not be good enough. But the moment you ask yourself, why not? You sort of start challenging yourself, because every time I get an answer to the why not do it, I have this little moment of motivation and passion of going, okay, challenge, seen it, overcome it, and I've gone on. So to me, it was choosing what to do with my time. I only have one lifetime of being Mccayla. I only have this one shot at being me. And I had to sit down and say, but if I could tick all the boxes, like I mentioned, how I try to hit all of the sustainable development goals in my projects as far as I can. But if by the end of my life, I have to look back on how many of the boxes I checked, how much impact did I make, how deeply did I go into the human existence, the landscape and the industry of sustainability really takes you deeply into the concept of life and the construct of all that which is. So my deepest invite to anyone who goes, but why sustainability? Aside from going, why not? I'll go, okay, you want to know why? Because it is the industry that leads into all other industries. Sustainability is the industry of keeping on. It is the industry of, like, we keep going here. That's what sustainability is. It's finding ways to keep going. It's finding ways to stay strong. It's finding ways to stay motivated. So why not be in an industry where your job actually empowers and motivates you? So that's to me the big thing.
Okay. You know,
Does it make sense?
I'm gonna ask us to go. Yes, perfectly. I'm gonna ask us to go to break, go get coffee, get some water. I wanna just reflect on the depth of the words that you've just shared with us right now, and then we'll come back with such powerful words. I think, yeah, hydration is important. We'll be back in a few.
The Africa Center for Work-Based Learning is a professional development center for professionals who aim to improve their professional standing. This means that the learning programs we run are more than just academic programs. They are work-based programs that focus on leveraging your current experience as a professional to build your overall profile. A year down the line, the Africa Center for Work-Based Learning is developing into a preferred center for professional development in Pretoria, with 8 professional development faculties including accounting, teaching, entrepreneurship, as well as IT and many more. For more information, go to acwbl.org or dial +27 12 751 7608. The Africa Center for Work-Based Learning, where work is learning.
Welcome back, Africa's Leaders in Sustainability on radio. You know where to find us: Elon Musk, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and where us LinkedIn. You know where we are. We have the reigning Miss Africa today, and oh my goodness, yeah, no. When I watch umuntu ukhombe kuphelele page nje, you like you just a full package of life, you know, of what life means. And what you mean. And such a blessing to have you on our show, man. Such a real blessing. And yes, before I journey into fun stuff, right? I'm going to ask you, what? I'm just curious. What triggered you to say? What triggers you in sustainability? What triggered you to take that bridge and cross that bridge and say, okay, I'm committing towards this sustainability journey? Because I know from my side, I never always knew that. I always had a form of sustainability since growing up, and it was just what can I say? But far apart up until COVID hit, and then all those small silent pieces just came together during the silence. And I was like, you know what? I'm committing into this journey. This is who I am. Events, and orchestrated a couple of events from there. And now the radio show on sustainability, there's a nonprofit. There's a whole bunch of stuff that just came out from there. So now, what triggered you? And what triggered you? Like, what did you always know you did this, or something?
Oh wow, that's a loaded question. Because many things triggered me.
That's why. Because
It's a
Yeah.
very holistic journey, and I think COVID brought a lot of us to the forefront in terms of knowing that there is a need for sustainability, and there's a collective us. I think COVID really shook a lot of us from our own little cocoons into, but there's a lot of us, and we're technically in it together. And I know COVID definitely did that for me. But what happened? I didn't know I was in sustainability until I was very deeply in it. And so I just for me, I was running this spiritual theological race, and I was doing my own spiritual development thing. And the next moment I looked up and I realized that what I was doing in living out my faith was building this entire thing, this entire campaign, this person, this character, this business that eventually plugged into this industry, and it was just such a perfect match. But what made me commit was I got to a moment, I was on a phone call with a friend, and I was thinking about the process of growing seedlings and plants. And I realized, yo, but it takes a while to grow something from a seedling. And at that time, I was busy unpacking the secrets of the universe and how all of it's combined and so on. And the thought came up to me. I like to say, but then the spirit asked me, how long does it take to grow an earth? And at the intersection of therapy and environmentalism and all of that, I realized that as a society, we're all stuck in this little matrix mindset, which that's great, that's beautiful. Do what you need to get yourself through, but also know that there is more. And when I realized the damage of the matrix mindset into the greater collective, because if a plant from a seed takes days to grow, how long does the earth in which we live, upon which we function, how long does that take to grow? And even if it's not the only one that the creator has, and there are many other universes out there, this one's still important to me. This one's still where I live. This is where my family lives. This is where my friends live. This is where my country is. And I've always been exceptionally patriotic. So knowing how long it's taken to grow Earth and how long it's taken South Africa to develop, and really looking at history and all of that, I could not let it go to waste. I could not. And yeah, that's so that question is what finally triggered me to commit.
Wow. Nice. Okay, wonderful. That's a perfect answer actually. There's different transitions that we all had, and majority of us, yeah, it's called so it's called. So we're gonna go on one more break before we wrap up. Now we're gonna get to the fun stuff. Okay, we'll be back.
How do you know the life or personal coach you're about to work with is who they say they are? How do you know if they can do the job? At the Africa Board for Coaching, Consulting and Coaching Psychology, we can tell you. So, before you share your secrets and spend your money, check with us first. Visit www.abccccp.com or call us on 012-751-7608. The ABCCP, the professional body for coaches.
Welcome back to Africa's Leader Sustainability. Sizwe financial, sizwe rapper, Miss Africa. Now, there's two variations. So, you know what? As me and my listeners and the listeners, and you know, it's a continent. So, I'm sure I'm not the only one. Kona Miss Africa, kona Mrs. Africa, and Mrs. Africa. Miss Africa. Yeah, progress. So this is yeah. So to Miss Africa, you know, I don't know why we alone in this Miss Africa. But anyway, so Mccayla, thank you so much for being our guest. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, we have 4 questions for you. First one is going to be what do you do for fun and how do you relax or unwind? It's tough. You're doing all these SDG goals and like take a breath and feel yourself relax.
So I paint, I write poetry, and I meditate. And then I have friends that I debate with. And those are fun things for me to do. I especially like spirited debate. But yes, painting and poetry and writing, it definitely helps.
Nice, wonderful, wonderful. And second question. What is your favorite song right now? By who?
My favorite song right now by who? There's a song, We Go Down Together, by a lady called something Cameron Dove, I think, and Khalid. It doesn't say DJ Khalid, it just says Khalid. So I don't know if it's a different guy but the song is We Go Down Together. And it's I listened to it and I listened to the depth of love that they're singing about in the song and the depth of emotion. And I just realized if that's not the depth of love that is waiting for me, then I don't want it. So that's my favorite song right now. I really like it.
Oh wow! Oh wow! As if I hadn't put it in as a song request.
Yes,
yeah, of course, for when I'm in Africa, I will know anything is possible. And then, okay, second last question. What is your favorite quote and by who?
So, my current favorite quote, I discovered it during the week, is "The welfare of the people is the highest law," by Cicero. I think his name is Maximus or Marcellus or something, but Cicero. His surname is Cicero. He's a Roman politician, or was. But the quote itself states, just to reiterate, "The welfare of the people is the highest law."
Check it out. The last question. There
Ooh, you broke up a bit there.
Last advice would you give your young self?
I didn't hear the question, sorry.
Advice would you give your young self? To a young and what would you say?
Yes.
Mccayla.
So I have a few pieces of advice to my younger self. First of all, spend more time writing to yourself and less time reading them. That to me is a big thing. I have a box full of letters where I write letters to my future self. So first of all, spend more time writing letters to yourself and less time reading them. And then my second piece of advice to myself or my younger self would be, you are far more capable than you can imagine. So do it now. No matter how young you are. I was 15 when someone started explaining to me the concept of not NGOs and NPOs and SIPSIA and all the administrative processes that goes in it. I was 15 when someone started explaining that to me. So to my younger self and to any younger individual out there, you are far more capable than you think you are. Go for it now. It is consistent lessons of refinement. The earlier you get started, the earlier you get good. And then my third piece of advice would be to spend more time focused on your vision. And only once you see it clearly, unpack it, deconstruct it. And then once you've done that, you chase that vision. You don't listen to a single word that anyone says. You go, and that's what you live for. That's what you focus on. That's what you put together. But you have to build the vision, then constructed to make sure that unhealed spaces in there, you take time and you make sure that your vision is really there for the greater collective, and then you run after it. You matrix your mind and you go. So that's my 3 pieces of advice to my younger self.
Oh, okay. I know. I think we've had you, and it's short, you know. I wish you had more time. But I'm sure we'll get to have you on a show again. We'll make sure we make time to have you on a show again. And then lastly, how do people connect with you? If there's somebody out there, how do they get in touch with you? How do they find you? Do you want to be found?
That's such a good question at the end. Do you want to be found?
Yes.
I am.
Copy act.
I am on social media. I'm on Facebook. I'm not on Elon Musk just yet, but I am on. I love that you call it that. But I am on Facebook. I am on Instagram. I am on Elon Musk actually, but I'm not very active. And then I'm on LinkedIn and on TikTok. So I'm all over the socials. And then website wise, you can go on to Patrician, Patrician. And that's where most of my projects, most of my work is showcased, because that's the company that I'm housed within. So in getting in touch with me is to get in touch with the company. Then also just the socials. If you search my name, you'll find me, because I try to only keep it my name. So please have a look at the spelling.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I had a wonderful time speaking to you and getting to know you. And I'm pretty sure that our listeners throughout the continent as well really, really got some insight and some inspiration and some motivation out there from you. And it's the current system that we're in, and the current changes and challenges, wars and pollution. And it can get being in this space of sustainability. I know that for myself, that it can be a lonely journey, but together, the spaces like these on Vuga Online Radio and Africa's Leaders in Sustainability Show, we can be together, inspire each other, and motivate each other, and work for the greater good and pay our rent in this world. Can't just live here and stuff. We must do the good work, the good deeds that actually God brought us here to do. Nonetheless, thank you so much, Mccayla. Really appreciate you.
Of course. Thank you very much. Thank you for creating the platform. Thank you for starting the conversation. And thank you for creating a safe space for me to just be openly as existential as I am. So thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. So, we'll have the content saved, and I'll also get to my next show. See you guys next time. Bye.
The home of inspiration every day.
Most people give up on themselves easily. You know the human spirit is powerful.
From news,
Countries across the globe have been hit by the COVID-19 virus.
views,
There's a global trend to see an increase in GBV incidences, specifically domestic violence.
sports,
What's he say? It's a really good ball. It's Shabalala.
and music to inspire you every day. This is Vuga Online, your inspiration radio station.